Mason, let me ask you. We have shown that we're willing to fight for people. When COVID hit, all the governors were thrust into having to make decisions about kids being in school, people being able to run businesses, whether there should be mandates on masks or vaccines and all this different stuff. And I took positions that were contrary to the narrative, the media, the bureaucracy, Dr. Fauci, the Democrats, and even some Republicans. And I got a lot of flack for that. I had a lot of incoming directed at me, probably more incoming than any governor has ever had. I just think that they thought that I was a target. Florida's an important state, a lot of different reasons. A lot of my supporters would tell me, man, you need to do something different because what you're doing, you're getting killed. But you know, if you're in that position, you either fight for people or you don't. And I had to care more about defending the freedom and the jobs of the people that I represented than I was worried about protecting my own political hide. And that's exactly what we did. We chose freedom over Fauciism. Instead of locking people down, we lifted people up. And the result is the state of Florida has never done better in its entire history. We also fought for the innocence of our children. I have a first grader, kindergartner, and pre-K, 3. And my wife and I believe that kids should be able to go to school, watch cartoons, just be kids, without having an agenda shoved down their throats. It's wrong to tell a kindergartner that they can change their gender or that they were born in the wrong body. And so we did something about it in Florida, had legislation to protect parents' rights, ensure that we didn't have the sexualization of the curriculum. The media opposed us, of course. The left opposed us, of course. But we had our most powerful company, Disney, opposing that and working against that legislation. If you know anything about Florida politics, usually they're the 800-pound gorilla. When they weigh in, it's over. No one really wants to cross them. And I had a lot of people saying that we weren't going to be able to succeed on this issue because of what Disney was doing to oppose us. But I took an oath to support and defend the people that elected me. I did not take an oath to subcontract out my leadership to a woke corporation based in California. And so we fought and we delivered. But you got to make sure when you're fighting, you're winning. We need to actually win victories as Republicans. Governor Reynolds has done that here in Iowa. I've done that here. I've done that in the state of Florida. But nationally, Republicans have really struggled. We've lost so many elections. We should have 58 Republican senators. Instead, we have 49. We should have another half a dozen Republican governors. We should have more Republican legislatures. We've been losing election after election consistently outside of states like Florida and Iowa. So you need to win the election. Chip talked about we won the biggest victory in Florida history, all the things good. And we can do that nationally. The Democrat, I'm the one that they don't want to run against. They're always attacking me. The media's attacking me. And I don't care if it's, I debated Gavin Newsom. I don't care who they put up against us. It may not be Biden. I'll handle whoever it is. That's not a problem. That's important. And obviously, if you don't win, you just go home. You don't get a chance to make policy. But once you're in there, you've got to convert. You've got to get these things done. If you're promising to build a wall, you got to build the wall. If you're promising to drain the swamp, you've got to drain the swamp. It can't just be about slogans. It can't be empty promises. So I'm the only one running who can say that I've delivered on 100% of my promises. Everything I said I would do. I'm also the only one that can say, if you look at the people on the left who are causing damage in this country across all these different institutions and all these different issues, I'm the only one running for president that has beaten these people time and time again. We beat the teachers union on universal school choice. We beat Fauci on COVID. We beat George Soros on crime. I removed 2 ideological, lawless prosecutors, only governor in America to have done that. We beat the Democrats on election integrity. We have banned ballot harvesting in Florida and Zuckerbucks and ensured universal voter ID. We also beat the left on banning China from purchasing land in our state. No farmland, no heavy military bases. So this is not just idle rhetoric. going toe-to-toe against the people that are driving this country into the ground, and we are beating them. And right now in the state of Florida, the Democratic Party is dead. We used to be a perfectly divided state. Every race was a one-point race. Not anymore, not after what we've been able to do. That is what you call winning. And that's what we need to do for this country going forward. We also need leadership. You know, you can sit there and get in and flail around, but people want to have a vision about where we're going to take the country. And we can attract more people as Republicans. Kim has done it in Iowa. I've done it in Florida. We've had trouble doing it nationally. Obviously, some of that is built in about animus towards the former president. That's not going anywhere. There's people that'll walk over hot coals barefoot to vote against him, regardless of the policy. That's just the nature of it. So we need leadership. We need to have a vision, and then we need to execute on that vision. Every single day as a leader, they're going to try to draw you off course. The bureaucracy, the media, the Dems, the left, even establishment DC Republicans, they don't necessarily want to see change, but we need a change agent in DC. We need somebody that's going to go up there, recognize that that city does not work for the American people, and is going to be able to lead us to a brighter future. And that's what I'll do. And it's one thing to do it when the wind's at your back. Anyone can do it. It's harder to do it when they have the wind at your face, when they're shooting at you, when they're slinging arrows at you. And that's what you should expect on January 20th, 2025. And if you can't lead through that, then you're not going to be successful. I've shown an ability to do that, and I'll get that done for this country. And we know the stuff that we need to do. We need to restore the American dream in this country. You should be able to work hard and get ahead without having inflation and interest rates and Bidenomics weighing you down. We'll reverse Bidenomics on day one as president. All the executive orders, all the bureaucracy, gone. We'll open up energy for production so that we lower energy costs and gas prices and make this country energy dominant and independent. We should never go to Venezuela or Saudi Arabia and beg for oil. Not on my watch, we won't do that. The fact of the matter is, the higher prices you've been paying is a result of what politicians in Washington, both Democrats and Republicans, particularly since March of 2020 with the response to COVID, they borrowed, printed, and spent trillions and trillions of dollars. Of course you're going to see inflation when that happens. In Florida, we've cut taxes every year. We've generated huge surpluses, and I've paid down almost 25% of our state's total accumulated debt from the beginning of statehood until the present. So we've shown how it's done in Florida, and we are going to fight back against the people that are mortgaging our kids' future and spending this country into oblivion. And we need to have reforms beyond just electing a better president. We need term limits for members of Congress. We need a balanced budget amendment for the Constitution. And we need to give the president the ability to line item veto spending bills so that you don't have to sign or veto the entire thing. If they have something in there about promoting transgenderism in Bangladesh, which your money has been used to do, the president should be able to just veto that out and veto out all the pork. That would make a huge, huge difference if we were able to do that. We're also going to restore the sovereignty of our country. Mexican drug cartels are not going to run our southern border anymore. There will be no more invasion at our southern border. We will build a border wall at the southern border. We're going to hold the Mexican drug cartels accountable for what they are doing to this country. They're invading our country, they're poisoning our people, and they are killing tens of thousands of Americans each and every year. I'm going to designate them as foreign terrorist organizations. We're going to authorize the use of military force. I do not want to see angel parents have to bury kids anymore. What happens is, I've talked to way more than you would ever imagine. A lot of these young people are not addicted to drugs. Maybe they take one pill thinking it's something else. If it's laced with fentanyl, that can poison them to death just like that. And they die. We even had an 18-month-old baby in an Airbnb in Florida crawling on the carpet. There happened to be residue from fentanyl on the carpet. And just from that residue, the baby, that killed the baby, 18-month-old. Can you imagine? Can you believe that? And yet, what do the people in D.C. do? They just shrug their shoulders. They don't care. Well, I care about this. I don't accept the fact that we have to see so many of our people killed. And we are going to, not only do we have the right to fight back against the cartels, we have a responsibility to fight back against the cartels. I know we need to revitalize our nation's military. I know we need to get the social, political, and woke ideologies out of the military. We need to make sure that the military is focused on the mission above all else, and that promotions are done based on merit and achievement, and not based on any other characteristics. And we, as Commander-in-Chief on day one, we will restore that to the military. We're going to have a stronger military to defend against the threat posed by the Chinese Communist Party. We cannot let the 21st century be a Chinese century. It needs to remain and be an American century. And as Commander-in-Chief, I'll get that job done so that our kids and grandkids can live in a free society. We also need to ensure that our schools are educating kids but not indoctrinating kids. We're going to defend the rights of parents to direct the education and upbringing of their kids. We're going to emphasize subjects like American civics and promoting our Constitution and Bill of Rights and teaching kids about our founding principles and what it means to be an American. We're going to ensure that higher education is focusing on pursuing truth, not on political indoctrination. When you have these universities like Penn and Harvard that are doing that, we are not going to send your tax dollars to those universities. We're going to make sure that we get reform. We are not going to let the inmates run the asylum. We are not going to sit idly by and let radical prosecutors refuse to enforce the law and put people back on the street and victimize more Americans. Every American family should have the right to raise their kids and grandkids in peace and security from sea to shining sea. We're going to restore the rule of law in this country. We're going to support the men and women of law enforcement who help make that happen. And we are not going to let the left poison any more of these cities with their radical policies that have put people's lives at risk. We're going to restore the government to its proper function, and we are going to return control of the government to its rightful owners, which is we, the American people. And that also involves bringing a reckoning to all the agencies involved in COVID-19 mandates and lockdowns and restrictions. Those policies failed. Those policies were destructive. You were lucky because you had a governor that fought for you. Florida's lucky because we fought for people, but that wasn't true everywhere in this country. And there's lasting damage that was done, and yet nobody has been held accountable for this. I am going to bring a reckoning. I am going to hold people accountable, because we can never let this happen to our country ever. And there's going to be a lot more that we'll do. But if we're just able to knock out all that stuff, then we'll be able to say that we've restored America to what President Reagan called the shining city on a hill, that we will have met the moment to turn over to our kids and grandkids a stronger, freer, and more prosperous city on the hill. And we really have no other choice. Our founding fathers understood that every generation of Americans would be tested, would have to stand up for freedom when it was at risk. When Benjamin Franklin walked out of the Constitutional Convention after they framed the Constitution, he was asked, "Do you give us a republic or a monarchy?" His answer was, "A republic if you can keep it." They understood you could have the best Constitution in the world, you could have the best Declaration of Independence in the world. These things do not run on autopilot. They require every generation of Americans to step up, defend freedom when it's at risk, sometimes even wearing a uniform, risking your life, and giving the last full measure of devotion in service of this country. Now, we're not called upon to make sacrifices of that nature, but what we are called upon to do is to preserve what George Washington called the sacred fire of liberty. This is a fire that burned in 1776 in Independence Hall, when 56 men pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to establish a new nation conceived in liberty. It's a fire that burned at a cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, when our nation's first Republican president pledged this nation to a new birth of freedom. It's a fire that burned on the shores of Normandy, when a merry band of brothers stormed France, defeated Nazi Germany, and preserved liberty throughout the world. It's a fire that burned in 1987 at the foot of the Berlin Wall, when a resolute Republican president stood in front of that wall and said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall, and eventually brought about the end of the Soviet Union. This is our responsibility, to carry this torch and to preserve the sacred fire of liberty. It's not a responsibility I shy away from. It's a responsibility that I welcome. It's a responsibility that we all should welcome. It's a responsibility that you have in your hands as you decide who to caucus for on January 15th. I'm asking for your support. If you go out and support me, you are going to change the entire narrative, trajectory, everything out there is in your hands. And as the nominee of the party, I'll get the job done just like I did in Florida. We'll win the election. We'll bring in congressmen, senators, everything we need to do to make this country succeed. As a leader, I'll always operate and conduct myself in a way that you can be proud of. And as your president, I can promise you this, you give me that opportunity, I will not let you down. We will get the job done. God bless. Thank you. All right.
Biden's weaponized our ATF. What do you expect? What do you want to do about that?
Oh, so we're gonna, what Biden is, actually Trump gave Biden the framework to do this by doing restrictions related to firearms through the bureaucracy without even getting a law passed. Now, I'm not saying I would support these laws, but when Biden's going after this pistol brace, that's making potentially 1 million or more people felons just by the bureaucracy making a rule. You could somehow be put in jail for that. So we're going to reverse all of that. That is weaponization. That is not an appropriate use of bureaucratic power. And you are going to see a new regime in charge when we get there regarding what they're doing. And that's the thing. Some of this on individual issues, firearms, automobiles is what they're trying to do with forcing electric vehicles, others, energy policy. But all these things are important for issues in terms of getting the policy right, and Biden's going to get all the policy wrong. But it's even more fundamental. Who governs our country? And if we, the people, govern our country, that means the most important decisions about federal policy are enacted by people that you elect to the House, to the Senate, and to the White House. When nameless, faceless bureaucrats are able to issue rules that have massive impact on American society without ever standing for election, without being able to be held accountable, that is not a government based on popular consent. That is a government in which the bureaucracy is just out of control. And unfortunately, that's what we've seen in this country for many, many years. And so we're going to get to the root of that problem with really bringing in the reins of the bureaucracy. We're not going to have an unlimited fourth branch of government. We're going to reconstitutionalize this so that the government operates the way the founding fathers and the Constitution envisioned. 3 branches of government, all executive branch agencies responsible to the President of the United States, and they do not have license to just do whatever the heck they want, regardless of the outcome of elections. I want to thank everybody for being here. If you're committed for us, I just want to thank you for your support. If you become committed because of today, please sign up with us and join the team. And I'm asking everybody that's going to go caucus for us, bring some other people. All you have within your hands to bring another person or two. That will change everything by doing this. And so this is a unique opportunity that Iowans have. I think I've done it the right way by actually showing up, by going to debates, by visiting all the counties, by doing the town halls, answering your questions. Not every candidate is doing that. I'm not entitled to your vote. I have to earn your support. And I know I've done that in some cases. Hopefully we've done more today. And we're going to continue doing that all the way up till January 15th. So we appreciate your support. We're asking for your support. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you on the other side.